glasses. They are exactly what the name suggests. They're a pair of frames with built-in speakers so you can listen while you're on the go. Sounds good on its face, right? On its face? No? Okay. But are they really worth it? I mean, most of us have a favorite pair of sunglasses and a favorite pair of headphones or earbuds. That being said, I thought it would be a good idea to reach out to 5 different companies and ask them to send me their very best audio frames so that I could answer for myself the most pressing questions I have about this product vertical. Let's unbox. Here they are. They are many. We have some accessories here, so let's just jump in with the pair that is probably the most well-known, Bose frames. I have 2 out of the 3 styles, tenor and soprano. All right, so let's open up the tenors. These are $250. They are a 2nd-gen product, and the tenors have the same specs as the sopranos, and you can see a lot of audio glasses are gonna have sort of this wider arm, and these are the sopranos, generally meant for the ladies or anybody who loves a good cat eye. Okay, next up we have somewhat of an anomaly in this group. These are Amazon's 2nd generation Echo frames. These are also $250, and yep, you guessed it, integrate Alexa into these pair of glasses. Obviously, these aren't sunglasses, but Amazon offers an optician guide so you can take them in for custom lenses. So if you wanted to, you could get them made into sunglasses. Now something a little different. These are Fauna Audio's pair of frames. These have clear lenses, just like the Echo frames, though Fauna does sell sunglasses models on their website. All 4 styles are $250 each, just like the previous 2 pairs. Fauna says their frames can be heated and fitted by a professional, which of course would be a huge plus if you have a prescription. Up next, Lucid Light. These retail for a little cheaper. These are $150. And there are 2 models. There's Wayfarer and the one they sent me, which is Classic Round. Lucid says if you listen to about an hour of music a day, you'll only need to charge these once a week, which would be very nice. And lastly, we've got Flows. These also retail for $150. And they come in 2 styles, Bruno's and Taylor's. These are the Taylor's. A single charge on these will also last you about 6 to 8 hours of continuous playback, which makes them very similar on paper to the Lucid Lights. However, I will say this about the Flows versus the Lucids. You can see the Lucid Lights have a much, much thinner arm, so that might be more comfortable. We'll have to see. Now it looks like all I have left to do is charge all of these beautiful pairs of frames up and take them for a spin. So after connecting them, how comfortable were they? Could I wear them all day? These little guys, the Echo frames, were the lightest pair of glasses and by far the easiest to wear over the course of a day. These are 31 grams, literally light as a feather. You would not notice they were there. Especially if you're already used to wearing glasses that might even be heavier than these. Of course, if you add a prescription, it will increase the weight more than likely, but overall, Echo frames, lightest pair, easiest to wear, no problems. The heaviest 2 pairs, which clock in at about 50 grams, are the Bose frames, which, as you can see, are quite a bit bigger. Regardless, just the surface area of them are bigger, and the Faunas, which also are bigger, but also have heavy arms, which is interesting because I can actually feel the weight of them sit on my ears a little more than any of the other glasses. So worth knowing if you don't like heavy frames, especially like I mentioned, if you're gonna add a prescription to any of these, it will increase the weight, and some of these you may not want to wear all day long. Now I feel like we can get to battery life. Most of these frames say on their respective websites that they're gonna last anywhere between 6 to 8 hours. Now, that's probably true if you're listening to music at about 50% volume for a couple hours a day, and then maybe you take a few calls. But if you are in fact listening at, let's say, 80% volume like I did, and you're listening nonstop, you're gonna get significantly less time than that. I probably got anywhere between 3 to 6 hours of battery life, a couple of these just over 6 hours, constantly playing music while I was sitting at my desk. Unfortunately, the Echo frames had the worst battery life for me, but I will say I did fiddle with them the most. I activated Alexa all the time. It was just really kind of one of those new tech problems where you run down the battery really quickly because you're constantly messing with it. But if you're a person who would use them very heavily, you would experience quite a bit less battery life. I was impressed by the Bose frames and the Faunas, which offered me that kind of higher end 6-ish hours of battery life when I was playing music constantly, nonstop throughout the day. I took some phone calls. I listened to a Zoom meeting each day on each pair of these glasses. And really just about every pair of these glasses gave me about 3 to 4 hours of use when cranked up to between 80 and 100% volume. So take that for what it's worth. Okay, so the big question, the one that I get more than anything else when I tell people I'm testing out audio frames, which is how good do they sound compared to what I'm already using? Let's talk about it. From least impressive to most impressive, first I'm gonna say the Lucid Lights, these with music sound incredibly tinny. I was not a fan of these. In fact, the treble was so overdriven that there was a lot of distortion at higher volume, and it actually kind of hurt my ears because it was pretty loud, especially in a quiet setting. So obviously, like, you wouldn't have it set to max if you were sitting at your desk, but there was a tinniness there that I was not a fan of. My ear did not like it, and I just don't recommend them for listening to music. Next, I would say the Flows. These actually had a significant improvement in musical audio quality compared to the Lucids. They sounded pretty good. I would say a solid middle of the pack there, not the worst, not the best. And for the price point, it's definitely the better of the two compared to the Lucids. Oof, Amazon Echo frames. Okay, so these are not made for listening to music. I mean, I feel like that's all I can say about them. It just doesn't sound very good. It's awesome for a lot of spoken word stuff. So if you listen to a lot of podcasts, if you listen to talk radio, or if you listen to, news or audiobooks, those are actually a really good choice. But if you're in it for kind of a music experience, you want to listen to music with a pair of audio frames, I would not recommend the Echo frames at all. Definitely a glasses assistant first, then audiobooks and podcast, literally everything else, and then music. And then we have the last two. So Faunas had good audio quality when they worked 100%. So I did actually have trouble with the Faunas. There were a couple instances throughout the day where I would pick them up or reconnect, and only the right speaker would be able to be heard. So you can see these are actually the little speakers right here. But when they did work, they sounded decent. And finally, kind of no surprise here, Bose had the best sounding audio out of all 5 of these different pairs of audio frames. These sounded pretty good. I would say they are up there. Faunas, when working properly, sounded pretty close to these. So if it was a question of style, you could choose probably either or and get a similar experience. But hey, Bose has a history of being really good with audio. I own a couple of Bose over-the-ear headphones that I like very much. And they do seem to have a little bit of an edge in the way of sound quality when you're listening to music. Okay, we have to talk about connectivity. So I genuinely do not appreciate needing to sign up for yet another account in yet another app. And that is what Bose makes you do. It was not very quick or easy to get up and running out of the box. When I buy a pair of audio sunglasses, I just want to charge them, turn them on, and immediately connect to them via the Bluetooth function in settings. Not so with Bose. Now, to be fair, there are a lot of granular and kind of cool options in that app, but it was still very annoying. Please don't make me sign up for a new account somewhere. I don't like it. And yes, before you jump down in the comments and drag me about the Echo Frames also needing an app for setup because they are connected to Alexa, I get that, but you're also using specifically Alexa when you buy Echo Frames. So I feel like that deserves a pass. There's also another thing I did not consider when testing out all of these different glasses. If you have earbuds or headphones, you've probably put them down to go do something, use the bathroom, make yourself a sandwich, whatever. But if you're using these and you put them down, you will run into that very, very familiar problem of constantly disconnecting and reconnecting as you walk away and kind of go by your office, and then all of a sudden you're connected to the glasses because they're about 15 feet away, but you don't actually want them to be connected right then at that time. That got a little bit frustrating, but also to be fair, I did have 5 pairs of audio frames to test out. So it was probably a little more of a problem for me than it would be for anybody else who's interested in buying just 1 pair and keeping that in the house. But food for thought. The good news is all of these allow you to hear just about anything while you're out and about. You have complete access to the sounds around you, ambient and otherwise, which is awesome, but also sucks a little bit because, like I just said, you can hear everything around you, and that includes things like construction and cars and trucks and people and screaming and animals. You can hear everything. So I figured it would be a good idea to test call quality, which I feel is a little separate from music quality, with the vacuum test. Now, I'm not out there riding in any subway cars or walking past construction sites near my house, unfortunately, so I wasn't able to test it that way for you, but I did figure out a way to test call quality with loud noises from the comfort of my own living room. So for call quality, I thought it would be a good idea to have a Zoom call with my co-producer Logan and see if I could hear what he was telling me while I was vacuuming in my living room. This is the loudest thing in my house, so I figured this is a good way to test it. All right, Logan, are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Okay, I can hear you. I'm using the Bose Sopranos right now, so I'm gonna start up my vacuum. I want you to give me a passcode and hopefully I can hear what you're saying. So the vacuum's on. Is it hard to hear me?
No, it's actually pretty clear.
I can barely hear you at all, actually.
All right, well, let's try a memory game then in that case and see if you can pick up on what I'm saying.
Okay.
All right, here we go. The first phrase that you will have to repeat is,
Mario decided Peach wasn't worth it.
My rolls are in the oven.
that is very incorrect.
I can't. Okay, now I'm stopping. What was I right?
You weren't even close. I said Mario said Peach isn't worth it.
Wow. Yeah, totally different. Okay.
It is very hard to hear you with a vacuum running. Should we try the next pair of glasses?
Sure, let's try a different pair.
Okay, the flows are on.
So, okay, I'm gonna start vacuuming. Let's see how the flows go.
All right, vacuuming.
Leonardo, Donatello, Raphael, Michelangelo.
It was very hard to hear, but I think you said
Leonardo, Donatello, Michelangelo, Raphael.
Congratulations, you named the Ninja Turtles.
woo!
And so I was able to sort of like deduce what you said, but it was not easy to hear.
Okay, let's go with the Lucids. Here we go, vacuum time.
Okay, so I'm talking, and hopefully you're able to hear me a little bit better than before.
Joss Whedon is the director of Justice League.
Oh, super easy to hear you. Joss Whedon is the director of the Justice League.
That's correct.
So that was super simple. Good job, Lucids. This is actually the easiest one to hear you at about 80% volume, so nice.
Okay, we've got the Echo frames. Let's see. It says my frames are offline. Oh, it wants me to just reset them up, I guess, even though they're already set up. Okay, press the volume control twice. Okay, it's connected. First it said there were 2 Echo frames. Now it says there are no Echo frames. Let's try this again, one more time. This is very annoying. So I guess these Echo frames didn't want to connect, tried to reconnect them, tried to deconnect them. We literally just spent 10 minutes like troubleshooting this. They don't want to work, so we're not going to do the vacuum test with the Echo frames. That's a shame.
Fauna is connected.
Let's vacuum.
I will say it is markedly clearer than most of the other frames. So it feels like I'm able to hear you a little clearer. Okay, let's do a passcode. I have a feeling I'm going to nail this one.
All right, here we go. Sally sells poke by the seashore.
Sally sells poke by the seashore.
Yeah, you got the mislead. So from your end, which pair of audio sunglasses do you think you were able to hear the best on?
I was able to hear the clearest and loudest on the Lucids, but only in one ear. The loudest and the clearest in both ears were these, the Fauna. And then I was really disappointed with the Bose and the Flows. And we didn't even get to test the Amazon ones. So what did I learn after testing 5 different pairs of audio glasses for a week? You know, there were 2 notable options that I did not get my hands on for the purposes of this video. J-Buds has their frames, which are these clip-on devices that you can put on any pair of glasses, which is kind of cool. And then Razer has these Anzu smart glasses, which will cost about 200 bucks. And I did not get to test those, but I would imagine both of those generally will come in the same range as these frames in terms of quality and battery life and all that stuff. As for which one was best, that is such a tough question because really, I think each one of these had one thing that it did pretty well. So for me, Faunas were a really good choice. If I was indoors all the time, I might be interested in a pair of their sunglasses. The Bose frames are great for anybody who wants a dependable audio brand that's been around for a long time, that the company's reliable, that they understand audio. I mean, it's really a safe pick if you're interested in the product category. Like I mentioned earlier, the Echo frames are perfect for anyone who likes to listen to audio or vocal content while they're maybe working at a desk. I did think that listening to audiobooks would actually be really easy if you were plugged into Alexa and you had, the whole Amazon ecosystem with Audible and all that stuff. That I could see a really great use case for. It's just not my use case. And then if you're not willing to spend $250 like those 3 pairs are, but you do want to try out a pair of audio sunglasses, the Lucid Lights look really cool and had the loudest, clearest phone call quality, but then the Flows also had better music quality. So depending on your use cases, each one of these could work for you. At the end of the day, though, here's what it really boils down to. If you are interested in this product category, if you are interested in audio glasses as a thing, you have to know that you are just simply not going to get the same type of audio quality that you're going to get wearing a pair of in-ear buds like AirPods Pro or Galaxy Buds or Sony's. And you're definitely not going to get the same audio quality as you would wearing an over-the-ear pair of headphones. I mean, this is how it works, right? So it's just by definition, you're just not going to have the same sort of like detailed, crisp audio that you would get in a closed-ear environment. That's how it is. If you're an audiophile, these likely aren't going to replace anything for you fully and completely. You have a product you probably already love listening to music on, but maybe you want something to simplify your loadout when you're out and about. Let's say you want to listen to music while you go hiking, but you still want to enjoy the surround sounds of nature. Then something like audio glasses might be worth checking out. Speaking of stuff worth checking out, you can click on any of these delightful CNET videos for more tech content, and make sure to like and subscribe for all the best, newest, and latest technology coverage right here on CNET's YouTube channel. Until next time, be good humans.